Right.
This position is going to go through an ulnar nerve stretch slash neural flossing technique to try and move the nerve without provoking it. So my ulnar nerve stretch position is kind of awkward, right? It's going to be, if it's my left hand, I'm going to bring my arm back into some external rotation. I'm going to turn my palm away and I'm going to extend my wrist, right? Even here I start to feel a little bit of tingling in my pinky. Now the closer this comes, maintaining this elbow out position, the more tension on the nerve, and even more tension is going to be if I tilt my head away, right? So this would be a maximal stretch on my ulnar nerve. External rotation, wrist extension, right? In a little bit of a supinated position, right? So if someone's really irritated, I don't necessarily want to stretch the nerve, so I'll do what we call a nerve glide or a neural floss, where I'll put tension on one end while I put slack on the other end. So instead of taking my head away, which is going to stretch that nerve, as my hand comes up, I'll bring my head towards my hand. So there's tension from the arm, but there's slack from the head. And then as I go away, and maybe I start to flex my wrist, I'll tilt away at my head. So now there's tension from my neck, but slack from my arm. So it's kind of like a piece of dental floss, right? As I come up here, this is going to be me pulling the floss down away from my body. I'll bring my head this way, so I put slack and let it go that way. And then the opposite, as my hand goes away, and I put slack from this side, I'll put a little tension from my head. So I'm kind of sliding that nerve down and up, right? Someone who's really irritable with nerve-related symptoms, I want to be very gentle with this. One course I looked at talked about the rule of 2/3, to where if I come up to, say, here, and this provokes a lot of extreme symptoms, well, I want to do this technique maybe 2/3 of that distance. So maybe I'll bring my hand just to here. So if every one that I do, maybe I'll come here. So I'm staying well short of even provoking that nerve. Now the only downside here is you can see I'm holding my arm up in the air, which may make my arm kind of tired and make me tense at my shoulder. So it may be more ideal to prop my arm up on something, whether that's a folded up pillow, right? Or even if I do this laying down, so I can be lying on my back doing the same thing. So just so you can see me from behind, this pillow, or even something maybe better would be, a couple pillows or this bolster, right? So first I want to maintain some external rotation of my shoulder. I'm going to turn my palm away, and I'm going to extend my wrist, right? And then the nerve floss position would be, as my fingertips come towards my head, they go towards each other, and then they go away. If I get symptoms, say, oh, here, well then everyone after that, I may just do to here. So I'm moving the nerve, I'm trying to promote some blood flow, but I'm not necessarily going to the point where I provoke it. Some people even talk about a nerve when you stretch it, kind of like a Chinese finger trap. Whenever you pull outward on that nerve, it creates a little bit of compression and actually creates more irritation of it. Versus if I go just shy of feeling any of those symptoms, I'm moving the nerve, but I'm not necessarily provoking it or irritating it. There's all kinds of variations to these positions. I could leave my neck still and maybe just move from the bottom end, where I just kind of come up into some wrist extension and down. It is best to have my arms supported so there's no tension or me pulling upward into my shoulder. So I could do the two ends separately. I could leave my arm relaxed, and then maybe after just do some easy side bends in my neck. So I could do the top piece, the bottom piece. If this is too much, me tilting my head towards the side, even as I'm just moving the bottom, will be moving it but not putting as much tension on the nerve. Or you can do the true nerve glide, right? The true nerve floss, where as you put tension on the bottom, you slack the top, and vice versa. So this is going to be your ulnar nerve mobilization positions. Definitely going in more of a supported position early on, and absolutely trying to avoid going to the point where you bring on a lot of symptoms, especially if the nerve is irritated.